Hey, welcome back to another episode of Opposite Saxes. We picked our topic for today, and been sitting here just chuckling about all the ins and outs of it. The topic was friendships, and the more we talked about what we were going to talk about, the more pieces to the puzzle seemed to be
Well,
falling into
things
place.
are harder today than they used to be
Yeah, I mean,
for anything.
first of all, let me ask you, how would you define friendship?
Oh, there's so many different kinds. I mean, it's tough.
Exactly.
Somebody that you can sit and have a meal with and connect with, you have the same morals, the same values.
Bottom
Um,
line to me, to friendship is somebody that you have been connected to in one way, shape, or form for many, many, many years. And this probably means going back to your childhood friends. How many childhood friends do you still stay in touch with on a regular basis?
I can count them on one hand.
Yeah, me too.
Um, but there's also the friends that we've made the last few years. I'm saying within 3 to 5 years.
All right.
That we've gotten close with and that we have meals with and we'll go to a movie
All
with.
right. So
So,
we'll keep it basically to say what, a 5 to 10 year frame.
okay.
And all, and for us, that means ever since we relocated to Texas, we've developed some new friends, and there are some that we have dinner with, like once a month
Mhm.
at least. There's others that we see socially when we go to events,
Mhm.
and we'll have you if we're at the same social event, we have a tendency to catch up
Mhm.
there. Uh,
But you
it,
don't, it's just not the same as the friends that we had, say, when we were living in Chicago. It was a whole different friendship because we had kids together, we had more in common together, and there were many more years together.
well, we are. It's suffice it to say, we are a mobile society
We are.
and all. And so whenever you say to somebody, "Oh, where are you from?" Very often somebody will say, "Well, originally I'm from here, and then we lived here for a while, and then," which is true for us.
Right?
We're originally from the Chicago area, the Midwest, and then we relocated to South Florida for a while, and we ended up in Texas basically because of our a family relocation. And you have to go back a few generations where people say, "Oh, well, no, I'm still living in the same town as all
Right.
my friends,"
Yeah.
because businesses have caused people to move and a lot of other things. But I know that there are still a few people going back decades
Hmm.
that you still stay in touch with.
Hmm.
I have I have a few, probably not as many as you, because a lot of them you just lose track of.
You
And that's the
you do you
interesting
lose touch
thing.
with. Well, everybody's got different schedules. Everybody's
Yes.
moving so
And
fast.
and yet we are so much more technically advanced. And all of those old friends, no matter where they are in the country, are virtually a click away on your computer or on your phone. That you can FaceTime with them or you can Zoom with them, and yet we still have a tendency not to connect that way.
But if it means that much to you, then you would connect with them.
And when do you usually connect with them? When you hear from somebody else that, "Oh, so and so had surgery or whatever." Then all of a sudden you pick up the phone and you call them. But maybe we have just become too complacent. Uh,
That's part of it.
you know, I mean, I do have,
You know that they're there and
yeah,
you're here.
I have a childhood friend who's living in Colorado. We met, we were kids really, and we've kind of kept connected off and on
Hmm.
f- our whole lives, except we last connected around Christmas, and we said, you know what, sometime let's just have a Zoom where we can, sit down and for a half hour, an hour, just,
Right.
catch up. Well, here it is, what, 9 months since or so later, and we're still talking about connecting, and we haven't.
Well, because you get
Shame
busy.
on me. That's my
You
fault
get
too.
busy, they get busy, everybody gets busy
But
and doing
are
their thing.
we too busy to stay connected to our friends? Other than just texting them or sending them an email or just today, uh, I got a little pop-up on when I was on Facebook and it mentioned somebody's birthday.
Hmm.
And so I clicked on it. I went up there and I said happy birthday to them.
Hmm.
Well, I you stop and think, when was the last time I said anything to that person? I still consider them to be a friend, but we just become
Well, but it
disconnected.
gets to the point you can't be with them constantly. You can't remember constantly. So there are friends and there are friends.
No,
And they're different kinds of friends.
well, right.
And some of the friends that I have that I've had for years and years since Chicago, um, I can go 6 to 8 months without talking to, and I pick up a phone or they'll call me, and it's like we just talked to each other yesterday.
Yeah, well,
And
it's like you go
everybody,
6 months without watching a soap opera and turn it on, and within one episode, you're all caught up. Yeah, I can
yeah.
understand, but also I think the times that you remember best were when you sat down like at a restaurant
Hmm.
and you talked and you took pictures out of your wallet and shared them. Now we do it with our phones,
Hmm.
but naturally if you're not in the same town, but even if you're in the same town, how often do you pick up the phone and call somebody and say, let's get together and meet at a cafe for lunch? You do it more than I do.
Okay, so using that, let's go back to when we were first married or even 10, 20 years
Ooh,
into
can
our
I
marriage.
remember that far back?
Yes, you can. I was, yes, no, you
Yeah.
can. And how many people did you connect with then? Because you were working a lot. You were in retail.
Well, yes.
And so how many did you really connect with then? Not
Well,
many.
when we got married, we, like you said, there's lots of pieces to this puzzle. When we were married, those formative years, if you will, we were all connected because of our kids.
Right.
And all the kids went to Sunday school together. The kids went to school together. They would socialize. They would go to birthday parties,
Right.
and you would see people a little bit more often, maybe
It's a little,
because of your kids.
yeah.
Also, you didn't have computers then. So you were either connected by the telephone or you were connected by, hey, let's go meet at the pizzeria. And you'd get three or four couples together and then you'd catch up with everybody at
Right.
once.
Right. But you didn't necessarily see your guy friends in Chicago every month or every week or
No,
every other
no.
week.
And
So
if you
I
did, it
can,
was a weekend.
yeah, but the women we did because while the kids were playing, we'd be together. Or we'd
Yeah.
find a way to go out for lunch while they were in school. Like I do now, I just go out for lunches. For women, I think it's more important, and I think you would see more women being closer. Women confide in each other. Women uh, discuss their problems with each other. Men, on the other hand, not as much.
And also, would you say that women have a tendency of when you talk about getting together and talking and confiding in each other, it's more or less on a one-to-one basis rather than in a group setting? Because I have a men's group that we get together every month, once a month for a dinner. But there's like 8 to 10 guys and all. And so we aren't necessarily confiding in
Right.
each other
No,
because it's more
no.
of a generic talk
Right.
about sports and
Women,
politics
this thing,
and
women's,
whatever.
I think it depends. I think there are women's groups that if there's six, seven of them, eight, they can really confide in each other. It just depends on the group. My group of four that I have lunch with every month, um, we talk about what's happening in our lives, but we don't necessarily say, oh, I'm having this problem. And we talk about what we've been doing, what we're going to be doing.
Yeah.
So that's more discussions, vacations we're going on or not. Um, it's the same thing. when you're in groups.
Yeah.
When you're alone, yes, I have found that the women that when I go out alone with them, there is more, oh, I'm having a problem with my son, my daughter, whatever, and
Now,
you know.
I remember going back to my running days.
Hmm.
That was probably the most regular group of
Right,
people that I interacted with because A, we would have a tendency to run together once or twice a week.
correct.
We would get together and go to running events on the weekends. We would travel together
Right,
sometimes, carpool and all. And
right,
so you were interacting with
correct.
that group. And
And that I understand.
I think that may still exist because there are people, if they're in a church group, they maybe interact not only once a week at church or synagogue, but maybe outside they also have some interest. If you're in a meetup group, a walking group,
Hmm.
a knitting group, a mahjong group, then you have a tendency to interact with those
Right,
people in those groups.
right.
But
But
uh,
but with your running club, you didn't necessarily get into the divorces or the sicknesses or anything, did you? Or sometimes you did.
yeah, sometimes you
Sometimes you
did,
did,
yeah.
yeah. Okay.
Especially
Yeah.
if somebody got injured, then
Well, yeah, you
somebody
talked
didn't
about your
show up.
injuries.
You would talk about your injuries
Right.
and you would talk about how you solved your injury. But also, if somebody wasn't there and you said, "Where is so and so?"
Right.
Oh, he pulled a muscle. He's out for a while. Then sometimes you'd get home and you'd call him
But I'm
and
sure
say,
that
"What's going on?"
one or two of your members were going through tough times.
Hmm.
And did you all as a group talk about it, or did you only talk about it when you were with that person?
No, I think sometimes you were supported that way. I find even today with the veteran groups, some of
Mm-hmm.
the veteran groups.
Mm-hmm.
Just most recently, we had a veteran group that we're involved in. One of the members had surgery.
Mm-hmm.
Well, you contacted his wife, and
Mm-hmm.
I sent a get well email to him, and then
Oh, that's
followed up to
good.
see how he was doing. And we have a tendency to do that. And does that fall under that moniker of friendships? I think it
Yes,
does.
yes, yes, it
I
does. It's
I
just a
think it does.
different form of friendship.
Yeah.
Um, and I mean, I see for a while there, well, with COVID, we all didn't see too many people.
Or wait, because of
Or
COVID, a
we did
lot of times
Zooms.
we interconnected with people
Right.
via
That's true. It
the
just
computer.
depends. Just depends.
And in fact, to a certain extent, you probably spent a little more time reconnecting with friends because you couldn't meet them for lunch.
Yeah, that's
You
true.
couldn't see them personally. And also you had nothing to do. You were homebound. So you did FaceTime and Skype and Zoom and all with them.
And I think now that a lot of people, things are getting a little bit more expensive, at least our friends, we don't have that many fabulous restaurants. A lot of restaurants have gone out of business. So instead of always meeting at restaurants, I know we've started having people over for dinner. One couple, two couples.
That's
And I think, and that it is quieter. You're in a quiet atmosphere. You can talk easier. And so I can see people going back to small dinners or lunches at their
I agree
house.
because frankly, I think that's kind of a lost art
It is.
is getting together. And it could be bringing in a pizza or it
Right.
could be just sharing a recipe that you have. We had a couple over to our house and you made a dish.
Hmm.
And the next day she called you to ask for the recipe.
Hmm.
And it was nice. And it was nice and it was quiet and you didn't have to sit in a restaurant with all the noise all around you. You actually had a nice quiet time. And I
And,
think people should do that a little bit more
and
often.
next week we're having another couple over, and she insisted on making something. I usually make everything. I figure if they're coming to the house, I usually like to make dinner.
Yeah.
But she insists, so she's bringing something. So it's more of a little potluck, and I see us doing more of that.
Yeah. I think we everybody kind of should do that. And also, kind of reassess and go through that Rolodex that you have or that little black
Mhm.
book or whatever, and just go page by page, and all of a sudden you hit somebody, you say, "Oh, I wonder what happened to her or to him." You haven't talked to him in it.
That's what I
Pick
do.
up the phone or text.
I go
Uh,
through my contacts because I could forget about so and so that I haven't talked to in a while. And when I go through the contacts, I realize, wow, I haven't talked to her in a long time.
right, right.
I gotta give him a
Yeah,
call.
I guess it's something we all should do.
Yeah.
And we remind each one of you to do it. In fact, I think it's a good idea that as soon as we say goodbye and end the show, go through your address book and find the name or two or of some people you haven't talked to in a while and said, "Hey, the Saxes said that I should call you and say hello, see how you're doing." Okay?
And they'll say, Sax is who?
Yeah.
Who are you talking about?
Opposite Saxes, those very famous people on YouTube. Tell them about the show while you're at it too.
That'd be nice.
Yeah, and come back and see us again next week or drop us a line and let us know, hey, you know what? I took your advice and I just connected with somebody I haven't talked to in 20 years and it was
There you
wonderful.
go.
Okay?
All right.
All right. Take care. See you
Bye.
next week.